I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I can sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. When you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Yeah. I always feel like I'm nobody. Who wants to fit in anyway? 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel that maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. 'Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. We at a party we don't wanna be at. Trying to talk but we can hear ourselves. I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie. Wondering if I can sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. When you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Yeah. I always feel like I'm nobody. Who wants to fit in anyway? 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel that maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. 'Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. We at a party we don't wanna be at. Trying to talk but we can hear ourselves. Pictureless, I'd rather kiss them right back. But all these people all around are crippled with anxiety. But I'm told it's where I'm supposed to be. You know what? It's kinda crazy 'cause I really don't mind. Can you make it better like that? Don't think we fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say. Oh yeah, yeah. When we walked in I said I'm sorry. But now I think that we should stay. 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel like maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights.
Selamat datang kepada semua hadirin dan hadirat. Diingatkan kepada hadirin dan hadirat sekalian untuk memastikan mikrofon anda berada dalam mod senyap. Kami juga mengalu-alukan semua hadirin untuk membuka kamera bagi memeriahkan lagi majlis pada petang ini. Majlis akan dimulakan sebentar sahaja lagi. Hadirin, hadirat juga diingatkan untuk mendaftar masuk melalui QR kod pendaftaran yang dipaparkan di skrin dan juga pautan Google Form yang dilampirkan di ruangan chat box. Sekian, terima kasih.
When I'm with my baby, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. No, I don't like nobody but it's like you're the only one here. I don't like nobody but you, baby. I don't care. I don't like nobody but you. I hate everyone here. I don't like nobody but you, baby. Yeah. 'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah. All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel like maybe I am somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I don't care as long as you just hold me near. You can take me anywhere. You're making me feel like I'm loved by somebody. I can deal with the bad nights when I'm with my baby, yeah. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shoes on, get up in the morning, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. Kink out, kick the drum, rolling on like a rolling stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top of the brown. Ding dong, call me on my phone, nice tea and I'll get my ping pong. This is dead heavy, can't hear the bass, boom, I'm ready. Life is sweet as honey, yeah, this beach chain like money. This go all alone, I'm into that, I'm good to go, I'm diamond, you know I glow. Hey, so let's go. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Hey, shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. Whoa, bring a friend, join the crowd. Whoever wanna come along. Word up, talk, just move right up the wall. They're like, sky's the line, so we dance to the break of dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the medicine, so you should keep your eyes on the ball. This is getting heavy, can you hear the bass? Boom, I'm ready. Life is sweet as honey, yeah, this bitch chain like money. And this go all alone, I'm into that, I'm good to go, I'm down, you know I glow. And let's go. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Hey, shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. Whoa, life is dynamite. Life is dynamite. Shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. Whoa, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, 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 light it up like dynamite. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Selamat datang kepada semua hadirin dan hadirat. Diingatkan kepada hadirin dan hadirat sekalian untuk memastikan mikrofon anda berada dalam mod senyap. Kami juga mengalu-alukan semua hadirin untuk membuka kamera bagi memeriahkan lagi majlis pada petang ini. Majlis akan dimulakan sebentar sahaja lagi. Hadirin hadirat juga diingatkan untuk mendaftar masuk melalui QR Code pendaftaran yang dipaparkan di skrin dan juga pautan Google Form yang dilampirkan di ruangan chat box. Sekian, terima kasih.
Cause I'm in stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night alight. Shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. This is so watch me bring the fire, set the night alight. Shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite. you can call me if you need someone. I'll pick up the pieces if you come undone. Stars up on your ceiling, cause you wish that you could find some feeling, yeah, yeah. You know you could call me if you need someone. I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away. We all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. Take my hand and hold on. Tell me everything that you need to say. Cause I know how it feels to be someone. Feels to be someone who loses their way. Looking for answers in a place unknown. You need the connection, but you can't get close. Painting stars up on your ceiling, cause you wish that you could find some feeling, yeah, yeah. You know you could call me if you need someone. I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away, yeah. We all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. Take my hand and hold on. Tell me everything that you need to say. Cause I know how it feels to be someone. Feels to be someone who loses their way. Midnight till morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there for you. I will be there for you. Midnight till morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there for you. I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away. Y'all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. Take my hand and hold on. Tell me everything that you need to say. Cause I know how it feels to be someone. Oh yeah. Feels to be someone who loses their way. Till morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there for you. Oh yeah, yeah. Midnight till morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there for you. I might lose my
Ingatkan kepada hadirin dan hadirat sekalian untuk memastikan mikrofon anda berada dalam mod senyap. Kami juga sangat mengalu-alukan semua hadirin untuk membuka kamera bagi memeriahkan lagi majlis pada malam ini. Hadirin hadirat juga diingatkan untuk mendaftar masuk melalui QR code pendaftaran yang dipaparkan di skrin dan juga pautan Google Form yang dilampirkan di ruangan chat box. Sekian, terima kasih. Salam sejahtera kepada semua. Saya Vigneshwaran Krishna dan saya merupakan moderator anda untuk sesi webinar pada hari ini. Mencari timba si anak darah, di bawah sarang burung tempuah. Salam sembah pembuka bicara, selamat datang untuk semua ke Coffee with Alumni, a peek into the future. Bagi memberkati majlis kita pada hari yang penuh bermakna ini, marilah kita bersama-sama menadah tangan, mengaminkan bacaan doa yang akan dipimpin oleh saudara Amir Imran bin Muhammad Khairi. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita mulakan majlis kita dengan Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka sami'un alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, innakal barul jawadul karim. Ya Allah, Engkaulah Tuhan yang yang mempunyai segala pujian. Engkaulah Tuhan yang berhak menerima segala pujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran. Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan. Di tangan Engkau segala kebajikan. Kepada Engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya Karim ya Rahim, cucurilah rahmat dan rahimmu ke atas majlis Leeds 2022 yang diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah ia dari awal hingga akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yurid. Kami juga memohon perlindungan daripada-Mu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami dan segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepada-Mu. Kepada-Mu juga kami serahkan segala urusan. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad walhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Terima kasih saudara Amir Imran bin Muhammad Hairi atas bacaan doa sebentar tadi. Semoga sesi kita pada hari ini berjalan dengan lancar dan dilimpahi berkat. Para hadirin dan hadirat, bidang keusahawanan merupakan sebuah bidang yang sangat luas dan membuka pelbagai peluang kepada mereka yang menceburinya. Perjalanan untuk menjadi seorang usahawan bukanlah mudah dan perlu bermula dari bawah. Hal ini demikian kerana kita semua tahu pelbagai cabaran dan liku-liku perlu dilalui sebelum seseorang itu boleh mencapai kejayaan sebagai seorang usahawan. Slot ini telah dirancang dan dilaksanakan bagi memberi pendedahan kepada para pelajar tentang bidang keusahawanan sebagai persediaan kepada para pelajar. Semoga para pelajar dapat mempelajari pelbagai ilmu baharu yang akan menjadi nilai tambahan kepada anda semua bagi melibatkan diri dalam bidang perniagaan, termasuklah peluang perniagaan yang berkaitan dengan bidang pengajian anda. Oleh itu kami bawakan khas kepada anda sesi Coffee with Alumni yang akan disampaikan oleh Encik Lee Wei Ching. Sebelum saya serahkan majlis kepada penceramah kita pada hari ini, izinkan saya untuk bacakan pengenalan ringkas mengenai Encik Lee Wei Ching. Untuk pengetahuan anda semua, beliau merupakan seorang pakar terapi cara kerja atau occupational therapist yang memiliki pengalaman sebanyak 12 tahun dan merupakan pengasas dan pengarah bagi Well Healthcare Group selama 10 tahun. Beliau juga telah memenangi pelbagai anugerah seperti Creative Young Entrepreneur CYEA 2018 dan Star Outstanding Business Award pada tahun 2019. Saya pasti para hadirin telah mendapat pelbagai input yang bermanfaat melalui perkongsian hari ini. Baiklah, tanpa melengahkan masa, marilah kita menjemput Encik Lee Wei Ching untuk menyampaikan perkongsiannya kepada semua. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Thank you. Okey, terima kasih. Terima kasih kerana sudi menjemput saya untuk memberi sedikit perkongsian lah experience saya selama ini sejak graduating from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. So hari ini perkongsian saya ni saya akan guna bahasa English lah, so that it's easier for me. I'll mix a bit of Malay, English, a mix of everything. So just a brief intro. Thanks for introducing a bit of my background just now. So my name is Wei Ching. Okay, my surname is Lee, so you can call me Lee or call me Wei Ching. So I like many of you, I was a student in UKM back in I graduated in 2009. That was quite some time ago from FSK. So last time it was called FSKB lah. So I studied occupational therapy. I was the second batch for occupational therapy course. So when I joined UKM, it's a rather new course. So we were not very well known, like what we studied and what we did was not very. It was not one of the popular courses in FSKB that during that time. So upon graduating, I was working in a private hospital back in Penang, where my hometown is. Because I've been away from home for quite some years, I was studying in matriculation, in para matriculation. So I was away from home for about 1 year. Then I came straight to UCAM. After that, UCAM KL. So it's been like, like 5 years away from home. So because I hardly go home as well, only during the semester breaks. Yeah, hi, honey. I saw in the chat box as a junior. You came year 2. Okay, all right. So I worked for 2 years plus in a private hospital before I started my own venture, which is Well Rehab. It was called Well Rehab earlier. Then as we grow, it became Well Healthcare Group because we diversify into a few different divisions and different things as we grow. So I have a bit of my company's background. I think it's shown here on the screen. Probably we can go through a bit. So we are called Well Rehab. So we are now in central and northern Malaysia, and soon we'll be in southern and also in East Malaysia as well. For now, we are mainly based in Penang. We have a branch in Ipoh, Perak, and we have a few branches in KL, Klang Valley, Selangor, and we will expand heavily in Penang and Klang Valley for this coming 2-3 years. And we have a branch in Kedah as well. So what we do is, I don't know whether you can flip the this PDF or not, because there's some info inside. Yeah, so many words. Okay, a lot of words inside here. So basically, we do. We started with physiotherapy and occupational therapy. So I'm an occupational therapist myself, so it's natural that I do something related to occupational therapy, OT. Then at the same time, when I started this company, I started with the physiotherapy service as well. So it was a very small department that back then. I think the company was a size of probably 3 to 4 persons, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, I can't remember. So it was a very tough first 3 years, 3 to 4 years. I think it was very, very tough because no one invested in me. I started the business with the previous savings and from whatever I have collected from my previous whether job or things I've done. Back in university, I did some small tiny ventures here and there with friends. So actually, to talk about entrepreneurship, keusahawanan, right? It didn't just start after graduating from uni and things like that. So back even during my study time, even during my matriculation time, I started some small things with my friends. So even with my matric members and all things, we did start things. So it was somehow part of my character, or it's part of my DNA that I like creating things. Okay, so when I started this, it was 2 small, tiny departments. Then as we grow, it was a tough first few years. It was very, very tough. So it was tough in terms of financially. It is tough because you need to pay salaries, you need to pay rent, you need to, it's very different from me being, as an employee in a hospital or in a workplace where you don't have to worry anything else. But when you're starting a business, of course, you have to be involved in almost everything. And back in those days, 2011, OT is not a very mainstream thing in private healthcare, in private rehab scene. Physio is more well known, of course, but it's very hard to introduce to the public, especially when I started back in Penang, in my hometown, so in a small town in Penang, Bukit Mertajam. So it took some time for us to create awareness among the public, among the society. And then we started branching out in around 2015, 2014, somewhere there. So we started with some small, tiny branches here and there. Until 2017, we expanded further to Klang Valley, to Selangor. Seri Kembangan. Then after that, we continue growing into PJ, Kepong, and upcoming we'll have a lot in like Shah Alam, Banjaya, and KL City Centre, many places. So it was a challenging but interesting journey along the road, because in this industry there is not much of a template for me to so-called like use, because there's no senior doing this before me, and even the physio center back then was like one-man show, boutique style, like not those extensive one. You can't find chain brands. Even until today, you don't find there are some with multiple branches, but not in a large scale. So there was not much of an example for me to learn from. So I would say we trailblaze, not only me and my team members, we trailblaze. And throughout the journey, you realize that your skill from what you learn from the university is only a very tiny part of the whole project. I will call it the whole project. So along the way, I was forced to pick up accounting, finance, HR, marketing, sales, this and that. And of course, now with the team growing, with a bigger team, we have different departments, we have different professionals in different departments. So it is very different when you are just practicing as a clinical therapist, where you're seeing patients day in day out. However many years that you're in the industry being a therapist, hands-on clinical work, I don't think it educates us much about running a business, rehab business I'm talking about. So it takes a lot of HR management as well, finance management as well, because sometimes we are very happy that we are helping people, we are improving people's quality of life and things like that. But in the end, it's still the numbers that count in terms of business, okay? Because you need to pay rent, you need to pay salaries, you need to grow the company, you grow your team. So it's not about shouting vision and mission and all things. So you see in our corporate profile, this vision and mission is important, but it only takes a very small part of this. Vision is we know where we are heading to, with the stakeholders and with the team and to the public to announce to people what we are heading to, where we are heading to, what is our direction. Mission, to our team members, internally, the therapists, the professionals. And by the way, we started with physio and occupational therapy. Then after that, we had speech therapists. Then we started having clinical psychologists inside the team. And then we have another sub-company hosting courses and trainings, certifications and all things. But until COVID came, then we couldn't do much because the speakers from overseas, they couldn't come. Then we went into education as well. We have our own tiny scale schools, which we plan to further develop in the coming years, step by step, depending on how this COVID situation is, because this has disrupted a lot of things. But anyhow, as an entrepreneur, as a person who finds new paths, even when the roads are closed by some other factors, we do find other ways and channels to keep the business afloat and growing, even during the tough COVID timing, tough MCO timing. So probably we can go next page of this corporate profile. Yeah, so we have occupational therapy, we have speech and swallowing therapy. Then with COVID, we have a lot of clients who come in with COVID survivors who need COVID rehabilitation. We have clinical psychology. Then we have special need children education. All right, so it's pretty diversified, our thing. So and also this year, sorry, it's been 1 year project that we were working very closely with a medical group, which is called Qualitas Medical Group. And this, probably you see a lot of Qualitas clinics out there in KL. So from 2022 onwards, we have actually merged with Qualitas Medical Group. So So we are expected to grow quite large in the coming years. Yeah, so it somehow the ecosystem is somehow complete. When I left school, when I left UKM, my idea was to make OT mainstream that time because it's not mainstream. So I want to make OT mainstream. At the same time, I want to create an ecosystem that has all this thing together with the mainstream medical service, allied healthcare with mainstream medical. And finally, like after 10 years, we have made this come true. So now, because Qualitas Medical Group is a mainstream primary healthcare, the largest in Malaysia. And I don't know whether we are largest or not, but I believe I would want to believe that we are the largest network of rehab companies in Malaysia. So with this merger, we are looking forward to growing this into very, very mainstream. So I still remember sharing one experience when I was in year one. Okay, when I was in year one, there was a senior from another course, okay, which has already a long history in FSKB that time. So he asked me, actually, what course are you studying? What are you studying actually? So I could describe what I study, but of course that question came as a bit of like I wouldn't say insult, but a bit of just to lower the status of my course at that time. But I'm glad I didn't give up and continue doing what I did. So and now with the skills that we have and with the knowledge that we have gotten from UKM, of course, and the years of clinical practice, we have changed. Not only me and my team members, my therapists, my team of therapists, we have changed a lot of many people's lives, quality of life. So yeah, someone say, a lot of people still do not know what OT is, which is good because there's a lot of things for you to build and develop. So you see, sometimes you have to see things in different perspective, right? Recently, I read it on social media that Titanic sinking. It's a tragedy for the humans on board, but it's a lucky day for the lobsters that's almost being cooked. So just perspective, change how you see things. So let's continue with a bit of introduction of a company. So just now we said about what we do. What's next here? Let me see what's next in this profile. Oh yeah, some of our awards. You see the Perkeso panel here, the SOXO logo here. So we have been their panel rehabilitation center for quite some years. I think it's almost 8 years. And we are working very closely with Perkeso. If you are in rehab, if you are in physio, OT, even speech, you should know that this return to work, work rehabilitation is a very big part of our job. So we work very closely with Perkeso. We have a few awards now and then, but to me, awards are awards. It's a recognition, but after the award night, after getting the award, you come down, you still have to work very hard. You still have to, tomorrow you still need to continue working on the projects that you are working on to maintain the continuous growth of the team and the company. Okay. So, the award is like you go up stage for that 30 seconds, 60 seconds, people call your name, just a few photo shots and your name being put on top there. But it doesn't signify anything. It doesn't signify any, it doesn't guarantee the upcoming success. It's just a recognition of your previous success, but it doesn't indicate any upcoming success. Yeah. So, up next, and let's see what we have next. I think it's our branches or things like that. Yeah. So these are some of our branches. We'll be adding more branches soon. So now my job is mainly on developing the network of our branches and opening up more outlets and basically sometimes I'm in a more semi-retired mode already, just because but I still maintain some hours seeing patients per week because I don't want to lose touch on what I've been doing, and I'm very thankful because the skills, and also, sometimes you can practice on the skill, you go for workshops, you train yourself, and you get educated, but still a bit of luck here and there, because not everyone is given the talent. So when you are given the talent by the creator or whoever it is, we should put it to use, put it to optimize the use to help other people change their quality of life. So speaking of that's more technical part. So speaking of business, of course, it's very different. Actually, when I was approached to share this, I think I was talking to Charmaine as well, one of your colleagues. I told her that probably we should go to a lot of Q&A instead of me sharing, because it will be more interesting for you to throw in questions instead of me saying what I want to say, because what I share based on my experience may not, it can be a reference point, but it doesn't have to be your only way of doing things, because before we go into any question and answer, I would be very honest to you that during the study time, I wasn't a very good student. I was spending my time, most of my time, knowing people outside of the university, outside of the campus, joining activities outside. I go for copywriting courses. I attend saham courses, those what do you call jutawan property courses, these things. So I was spending a lot of my time doing what is outside the university, So I wasn't the pet student of the lecturers or the teachers. I mean, all my lecturers know how I was back then. But I feel that it's up to you. It's based on what you like and what you want. So if you are very into academics, you don't have to force yourself to, I have to go, into this because now the trend is like this, people are starting a business, people are doing this and that, everyone has your own choice, like your own preference. If you like to be in clinical, I have some colleagues, I have some ex-course mates, my uni mates, even my friends who are very into clinical, work, seeing patients and all things. Of course, that's their passion. That's where their passion is. So they go ahead with that. Then there's no point comparing that, Lee is doing this, then that person is not doing that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what you feel happy with what you're doing. And trust me, life, as it progresses, the phases change. Like what you think now, 3 years upon graduating may be different when it comes to the 10th year, when it comes to the 5th year. When you start your own family, when you have your company, or you start something else, or you are not even doing what you have studied. Possible, So I've seen some people who do totally different things from what they study, and they achieve very high success. So there is no one fixed formula for success or anything, and also depending on how you define success. Some people's success is like, I have a happy family. I have 2 kids. I have steady life. I can chill on weekends. I can go just cuti, just makan. That's success. That's happiness for them, and that's it. But if you are like, you want to be more ambitious, you are hungry for more, then you have to pay the price. So it's a give and take. There's no right or wrong in this whole thing. So my way of doing things, I do not know how many people are as crazy as me doing this, because to be honest, I haven't taken 1 day of MC since I started working, even from the hospital days. From I graduate until now, there's no MC. I've done surgeries, but surgery I pick only on the days that I'm not seeing patients. I go do surgeries. I've never. Annual leave I was forced to take when I was working for a hospital, so I was forced to clear your leave. But I do not take rest, because it's not I force myself to not rest, but because I enjoy doing what I do. And I relax on the days when people work in office. and I work when people are resting on their weekends. So, so that's just a matter of choice, lah. There's no fixed formula. So, so probably we could go straight to Q&A. If everyone is okay, then we can throw in questions. If you have any question for me, I'm more than happy to share based on your questions. And yep.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay,
Yep, sure.
Baiklah, sesi kita akan diteruskan lagi dengan sesi soal jawab. Boleh dengar ke? Right? Okay. So, sesi kita akan diteruskan lagi dengan sesi soal jawab. Kepada hadirin yang ingin mengajukan soalan, anda digalakkan untuk membuka mic dan bertanya terus kepada Encik Lee Wei Ching, atau boleh juga memasukkan soalan anda di pautan link Slido yang telah diberikan di ruangan chat box. Jangan malu-malu ya, anda boleh tanyakan soalan. Okay. So, sebelum saya pergi ke pautan Slido, di chat box Adam telah tanyakan soalan, do you plan to grow your company to Sabah and Sarawak? So Mr. Lee, this is your first question.
All right. Adam, right? This is from Adam, right?
Yes.
Adam, you plan to work with us? Then of course, sure, let's go.
I'm willing to work.
Adam, you're from what course?
Physiotherapy.
Oh, good. Okay. So, of course, Sabah Sarawak, we have plans to go there. In fact, I think after Chinese New Year this year, I'll be flying over there to do some surveys and some. I've been there before COVID. I was there before COVID, and we were laying the floor plans and things like that. And then too bad COVID hit, and then we didn't proceed because things were too uncertain. Yes, definitely that is part of the plan. That is part of the plan. Yeah. But when, I'm not sure. Probably next year, end of this year. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So the question is, someone asked in the Slido.
Yep.
What's the difference between apa perbezaan antara kehidupan seorang pelajar dan seorang pekerja? So, towards Encik Lee.
Oh, okay. Perbezaan dia sangat ketara. So when you are a student, okay, of course I'm talking about undergraduate student. I mean, talk about degree student or diploma student, degree student. So of course, when you are a student, your main focus will be like those exams and classes and things like that. But at the same time, you actually have a lot of freedom. Okay, although you have your schedule, you have your classes, you have things like that, but you have a lot of freedom to do a lot of extra things that you intend to do. But when you're working, when you are say working for someone else, you probably have a lot more to worry about. But of course, not as much as someone who owns a business, because if I believe many of you here, probably your family owns business, or you have family members or friends owning business. So you are like 24 hours. Although you have the freedom to move around, but you are occupied with the things that you need to be responsible with. So being a student, you have to utilize your time to absorb as much as possible, especially when you are in KL campus. I believe one of the biggest blessing that I had was to be sent to the KL campus, because it was very convenient for me to join a lot of workshop back then. Back then there was no Zoom, nothing, no all this online courses. There was like 2005 or something, the ancient time. So the time I was like, when I'm in KL City Center, it gives me a lot of chance to go and learn a lot of things, other than my UKM course. So when you are a student, you have that time freedom. Or you can go and work part-time. You can try something else that is different from nowadays when my HR manager or my exec, when they hire people, I tell them, if you're hiring a physiotherapist or occupational, whatever it is, you could probably see also what they did as part-time last time, or before they came into uni, or during uni time. There are some students who part-time, they go and do some other things, which I find will equip you with more soft skills that you will need when you come out be it a therapist or any course that you're studying in UKM. So that kind of freedom, okay? Maybe financially you do not have that much of freedom. Most of us, like me, we're living a very poor life during uni time, right? But you can think of ways to make that happen, like last time I had no money to go and attend workshops, and I have to think of my way to earn some money, So when you're working, the sense of responsibility is different. Because like me as a therapist, I cannot say that, hey, I'm a student, so my approach may be wrong, because my client in a private rehab center, clients pay, insurance company pay you, and you have to be responsible with your decision and your treatment or your clinical reasoning. It's worth money, and people are paying you for your service. So that's very different. That kind of sense of responsibility is very different, and the sense of commitment is very different. So memang berbeza. So if berbanding dengan orang yang operate business, it's even much more different. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay. So the next question in the chat box, the question goes like this. Do you intend to include audiology in Well Rehab Center, given that audiology is also part of the rehabilitation group?
Yeah. In fact, that is also part of our plan. Before this talk, I was just chatting with one of your audiology seniors. I tell that tonight we have this casual talk going on. This one, and you're like, oh, really? So yeah, this is part of the plan. But we need time to really do this, because what we do not want to do is abruptly or simply starting something. So when we want to start, it has to be proper. It has to be really helpful for the people who need it. So there are many people who start things very gung-ho, very just not start, just start saja. Then, but depending on what line you are, if you are online live selling batik, then probably okay. But when you are starting a professional service like this, then probably you need to lay a lot of foundation. So we are actually in preparation for about 2 years for this project already. It will happen. Yes, it will. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Lee. So the next question goes like this. Pada pendapat Encik, apakah cabaran atau halangan dalam pekerjaan atau pekerja hari ini?
Okay, the cabaran and halangan is almost the same even back 50 years ago. Okay, it's always the same. I mean, like when you come out as a fresh grad, your skills are a bit limited. You hope to learn more, you hope to go for further things, and then but nowadays probably, okay. Let me share a story. When I worked in a hospital, my result was not too bad when I graduated. I went to Dean Lee's before, so But when I went to the hospital in Penang, when I was working in the private hospital, my pay was so little. I think it's the lowest among all of my same batch graduates, my friends who worked in private sector. But I continue on because I appreciate the exposure that I may get when I was there. So it was so little until I don't bother looking at my salary account for 1.5 years to 2 years. I don't bother looking at it. I just let it run inside. So I do some other things to make ends meet. So nowadays, there are some people, okay, sometimes it depends on how you value yourself. Yes, we always need to value ourselves. We learn, we study for 4 years, we come out and things like that. But sometimes we cannot have that mentality that, oh, I'm at this level, so I'm coming in at this level. When you have nothing much on the negotiation table, when you come to a negotiation table naked, you have nothing much, and you are demanding, this and that. It sometimes lower your chance of achieving things that you may be able to achieve 5-6 years down the road. Probably your first employer will be a good platform for you to grow your career, but because of how you think about yourself and things like that, may limit the chances that you would never. So probably like your first job, go with something that you think that you can get the most exposure, okay, and not looking at that friend's getting like 150 or 200 more than me. That doesn't matter really. That doesn't matter. And one more thing is, how should I put this? Work hard lah. I mean, when you when you come out, you need to really work very, 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 very hard. Yeah, very hard. Yeah, chances will come if you are working hard enough. And of course, you work smart, but working smart is on top of working hard. When you work very hard, then you work smart, then you get opportunities knocking on your door. Yeah, that's a challenge. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Mr. Lee. Okay, so we are moving on to the next question. I think this question everyone would be very interested to hear. So in your opinion, what are the expectation or the skills that you think need to be equipped by the fresh graduates or the students like who freshly grad out from the universities? So I think everyone is eagerly waiting to know that points.
Okay, so just continuing on what I've mentioned just now, you have, of course, technical skills, clinical skill can be sharpened, over time, because you need practice, you need to do this. So we do not usually expect a fresh grad to come up with very sharp skills, because it's understandable, especially during this COVID time. Sometimes our clinical posting is being cut short, being shifted here and there and things like that. But the problem, the main thing that an employer is looking at would be the attitude of the work attitude. This has been there for 100 years already. It's still the same thing, because when I was working as a junior therapist, I was working there, the senior therapists usually, I have no training from them at all. I step in first day, see patient, that's it. You go and understand the SOP, understand the step, and you go and see patient. All right. So one thing I would probably advise or share, that is, when you go to work for your first job, do not go with the thinking that I'm here to learn. Someone is supposed to teach me. No, the teaching happens when you go and do the work and you do it wrongly. You cannot scold, you cannot bantai or whatever it is. You learn from that. You learn from your intervention that you have been doing. Okay, so some people come in with the wrong mentality. So I give you an example. Let's say you go into university, you pay school fee, you get PTPTN, you pay for your fee, and you expect to be taught by your lecturer. Then your lecturer will teach you, and you have to go do your studies. You have to do your research and all those things. But why, when you go to work, you expect that your employer pay you salary and teach you skills? It doesn't make sense, right? Because when you go uni, you pay the school fee, especially like if you go to private uni, right, like 200K, 700K, pay for that. And you expect to get a degree uni, and you thank the lecturer, thank you for teaching me. But you go to work, you expect to be paid every month, your salary, your EPF, so and everything, and you expect your employer to teach you. So the employer is paying you and to teach you. So, but the thinking has to switch. I'm there to work, give what I have, all I have, and to get the feedback so that I grow. Okay, so that is more important than the monetary income for the first few years. Trust me, what I made probably in a month when I was working in the hospital is probably now like probably a day or half a day of my work. So it's all about the foundation. It's all about the hard work in the first phase. So like I say, so continuing with this, this is something that you need to really take serious note, and employers will look at that. I would rather get someone who has a very good attitude and probably not so good skills, because skills we can train. We can train, we can expose, we can send you to courses, send you to trainings, whatever. You can see thousands, hundreds of patients per week, per month, and you get better in your skills. But attitude is something that cannot be trained.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, for the input. Okay, so moving on to the next question. I think this question is like more of us want to know more about you, about your experience in KTSN. So since all of us are connected in that point of being in KTSN, so can you share with us a little bit more about your experience or your memory in KTSN, and like what are the things that you have joined
All right.
when you were a student?
Okay. I stayed only for a short 1 year lah in KDSN. Like I say, I wasn't a very, very good student back then. So I didn't really join too much of the college activities or the uni activities. My activities would be outwards. So I had a lot of problem with the security guard because sometimes when we go out with my group of friends from nutrition, from dietetics, from pharmacy, from physio, wherever we go out, lepa, and then outside, when we come back, the gate has been closed already. So that was my deepest memory for KTSN. And, we have to wait for the guard to open the door the next day. But KTSN, of course, is a very good environment when you, especially exam season and things like that, we can study together in the hostel. Then, there was a lot of interesting things going on. I can't remember what the competitions are, in the college itself, a lot of activities going on. But unfortunately, I only spent very short time, like 1 year. Then after that, we moved out. So my time was during the year one, the first year, when I went inside, oh wow, this hostel is bersejarah. But it was a nice 1 year when we were in there Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee, for the sharing. Okay, so the next question, I think it's more of like a bit more straight to the point question, I would say, because the question sounds nowadays there are way too many excellent students with powerful or like excellent soft skills. How to make ourselves different than the others? Because like you have mentioned earlier, because now there are plenty of chances for us to learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
And YouTube, and there's a lot of stuff, right? So
Yep.
how can we make ourselves different than the others?
Yeah, like I mentioned previously, right now, you see with the MCO coming, suddenly have a lot of online courses, a lot of accessibility. Even you go to YouTube, let's not say, go for online courses. You go YouTube, you go Spotify, you got podcasts, you get a lot of info from the pros, the masterclass and all those things. So first of all, you probably identify your interests, your direction. Okay, of course, initial phase, it won't be super accurate because we change, and as we go on, we change, we grow. But identify a few interest areas that you want to develop in, whether in the course that you are studying or some other things. Soft skill, of course, a soft skill cannot be learned via a workshop or a course, but you need to mix around, you need to talk to people, you need to learn from people, mingle more, not only people from our faculty, you can meet, people from other courses, other specialty, other industry, where you learn a lot. And as you learn more, your communication becomes better. Your soft skill, of course, communication, and your tone, the way you speak, the knowledge you have in your mind, it's easier to convince people and send your message clearer. And it helps you to do a lot of your job better. It helps you to do your job much, much, much better. So I would say communication skills is one thing. Soft skill, of course, like mentioned here in the question. You want to be different than others, then you have to do something different from others. If you expect like some other people study from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., you follow exactly the schedule, probably your outcome will be somehow like his outcome only. So, if he does 10 hours, probably you double it, then you probably would have a chance of doubling the result, or at least 50% more. So I still believe in working very hard. And when you reach a certain level, you have to work very smart, mixed with the right group of people. What I mean right group is not about status or anything. No, it's about mentality. Your mentality decides how you see certain things and how wide you would view something. Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Lee. Okay, so I was just wondering when I was listening, because I'm a speech therapy student. So I was like thinking. So currently, after COVID-19, like hit like the pandemic hit, and things have changed. The way we do rehabilitation, the way we meet patients have changed, and like one major change was the tele rehab.
Yep.
So I was thinking like in our university it has started to grow. It's like particularly in speech therapy it has started to grow. So but I'm just wondering if like how relevant it is in industrial setting like the
Okay.
teletherapy.
Yeah. Okay. Teletherapy. Okay, less about teleconsultation and things like that. If you ask me, with the technology that we have today, the efficiency, the efficacy would be probably just 30% to 40% of physical therapy. I mean, actual physical face-to-face therapy. Speech therapy is slightly easier when we talk about language and communication. Okay, speech language communication, and not so much on the swallowing part. I mean, of course, you can also do like dysphagia patient and all things. But you know, a lot of times we need very close observation. For example, swallowing cases, you know, is a very high risk thing. You know, when you do dysphagia patients, you have to observe how the muscles move, how the swallowing is, you know, how the feeding is, everything. So when it comes to speech therapy, when it comes to language only, and provided the client can cooperate very well in front of the webcam and in front of the screen, then it's higher chance lah. You know, it's higher chance. If you have a severe autism, severe ADHD, severe hyperactive or poor cognitive performance understanding child, then it will be very challenging lah. It will be very challenging. Because when you are having a physical session, face-to-face session, you can divert this person or you can engage him or her in many different activities, and you have that physical touch. You can prompt. You can do a lot of prompting. But when it's teletherapy, you have to rely on the parent and the caregiver. Okay. So let's say in UKM clinic, university clinic, or even in GH and things like that, probably the acceptance is slightly higher. Okay, slightly higher because this is like a government or semi-government setting and things like that. So people will try to follow that. But when it comes to a private setting, depending on the case. Sometimes if the parents feel that, hey, I have to do 99% of the job while I just taking instruction and doing that, I mean, practically people will think that, that what's the point of doing this? And we have faced situations like this. But of course we try because sometimes during COVID time, you have no other choices, no other options, right? So you will still try to do like us doing occupational therapy for special needs children is very tough because we have to do a lot of physical activities. You can't swing the child without putting on the swing, right? And just show the parent, you go and swing this thing. So they will feel that, we still want to do the activity. So we try our best, but it's not all population of the clients, of the patient that are suitable for teletherapy for now, with the technology that we have now. Okay. So unless AI, VR become very, very advanced, you can have tactile input, you can have, a lot of really proprioceptive and all those things, then yeah, maybe yes. Because we are very different from doctors giving consultation. Okay, doctors can see you and then they can see your condition and probably give you a prescription. You can buy your drugs, you can get your medicine and things like that. But therapy is a bit different. Yeah, therapy is a bit different. So I would say 30-40%. But who knows? Maybe in 3 years' time, 5 years' time, technology gets better, then it's much better. Yep.
I got it. So, Mr. Lee, so you're saying that the efficacy and the efficiency is at 30-40%, but the acceptance is still lacking. I mean, when it comes to private setting among the parents.
I would say, the acceptance is probably also 20-30%. I mean, whenever you see the COVID situation gets better, the clients would want to come for face-to-face session because they feel that that's more, that works better for them.
Okay, true. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lee. So moving on to the next question. I think this must be a question from an OT student. So he asks, what is your favorite department to work in?
Oh, you mean like in like neuro, medical, all those things, right? My favorite when I was a student used to be neuro. But as I work now, I see a lot of children patients. I do a lot of pediatric cases. I wouldn't say that I love being in that department or that specialty, but I just happen to be better at what I do with the kids. So I quite enjoy doing it. So pediatrics will be my current preference. But I'm okay with anything lah. I mean, I'm okay with auto, neuro, and things like that. But currently, because of my limited time in a week, so I only see pediatric cases for a selected time period in a week. Yeah.
Thank you, Silly, for that. Okay, so the next question, it goes this way. So is there any advice for me during my clinical settings in hospital? And he says it's quite stressful. So it must be
stressful, not too stressful. You this is from what course you are studying? I don't know. I mean, like I'm just guessing probably. Okay. Advice. Just enjoy it. Just do what the supervisors ask you to do. I mean, what the lecturers want you to do. Then at the same time, observe the patients. Enjoy doing that. That is probably much more relaxing compared to when you come out and work and really see real patients. I mean, that's enjoy your time. Know people around. Get to know the senior therapists. Or I mean, I'm assuming you are studying therapy. I don't know. I'm assuming. So get to know the people working in the hospital. Network. Learn from them more. Chat with them more. Then probably they could share a lot of good clinical experience with you. Rapport building is very important. So I'm assuming you are a therapist, upcoming therapist. So I mean, rapport building is one of the essential skills. There are some therapists or doctors who have very good clinical skills, very good theory. They can memorize all the frame of reference, all the protocols, but they have very poor rapport building skills and very poor soft skill. So patients do not want to see them. Okay, so you must. I mean, putting ourselves in their shoes, right? When you go and see a doctor, the first thing you look for is the comfort that the doctor is bringing you, coming in, greeting you, asking you how you feel. That few sentences building rapport is actually the placebo effect that make you feel better already. Then you go for your treatment and things like that. So. Learn those things from your supervisor. Not too stressful. I mean, still okay. Still okay. Still okay.
Okay, so thank you, Silly, for that. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Okay, I think I would rephrase this question. So the question goes like, so from being a clinician or from being a fresh grad student and a clinician, entering into entrepreneurship. So what are the things that it takes for us to survive in entrepreneurship?
What does it take? Okay, you have to be very persistent with certain things. Sometimes it sounds a bit crazy. It sounds a bit. The things that I've been doing is very different from what my friends do. People from my course, but there's nothing right or wrong. Like I say just now, they have their preference. I have my preference, but. You have to be willing to sacrifice, probably your hours, your time. You probably wouldn't have that much time with your friends on weekends, when people are resting, then probably you need to do extra things. But like I say, if someone is doing 5 hours work or exercising for 5 hours in the gym and you are only exercising 5 hours at the same time, it's impossible that you will achieve much more than him or her, right? I mean, so one thing is you have to be very persistent. You have to persevere. I mean, these are very cheesy, but that's true. Persistent is very one word, right? But it takes you a lot of mental strength to handle that. A lot of mental strength. So we have been through a lot of crises. Not only COVID. COVID is one of the things, and a lot of other crises, but it takes a lot of courage to overcome those, because there are many people who give up halfway when they're doing business, whatever kind of business. When they face crisis, not enough money. Sometimes you already go close to pokai, kind of like almost no. You are burning all your savings and all things. I have even sold my property before to sustain one of our crises, but that is part and parcel of the journey lah. So you have to be mentally prepared that you are going through something very different. And if you are like myself in our industry, I would say I would probably be the first one in Malaysia to run this multidisciplinary rehab center as an OT, owning a large team of physiotherapists in the team, because all this while previously it was physio owning OT, but and OT is not is nothing, not much to be found also lah. So when you are doing something without any previous samples or predecessor, so that's the challenge. So you have to be mentally strong for that, and physically you have to maintain your physical health lah. That one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee. So next, right? I think next question, I think this is about a rehab student. I think the question must surely come from a rehab student. So the question goes like, how do you convince your parents about your choice? And my mom did not agree with my course, but I'm happy. Like, that's the question. So like, what's your view?
I'm lucky enough that I did not need to convince my parents, because okay, so before coming into UKM, I was even before going into matriculation, I was already studying in a private college that time. You know, I was doing my A levels and I was preparing to go to New Zealand. I was preparing to go to New Zealand to study something else. Then I got my matriculation offer letter. Then I was thinking, you know, if I go this path, I probably could save a lot of my parents' money, because that time, yes, I did a bit of tiny businesses as a Form 5 student with my friends, you know, but it definitely will not be enough for my studies. So I'm fighting very hard for scholarships and things like that. So I was putting a lot of effort for my A levels, you know. And if I were to go to New Zealand to study, it probably cost me 500,000-600,000 that time, you know, with all the tuition fee and, you know, staying allowance, living allowance and all things. I come from a single parent family. So my mom is a single parent. So she's now she's a retired teacher. So she's not from business. So I was thinking that probably if I go the university path, right, the local university path, I would save my mom a lot of money and she could start enjoying her life. Which really happened. So I went, you know, matric, and I went to UKM. So in fact, OT is one of my top choices. Okay, top choices. I really read about it, and it was on the star paper. So I read it was physio and OT, physio OT, you know. So there's a very senior physio doing that article, doing that interview that's a very senior one. Probably he's now in his 60s or 70 years old. But we are planning to buy their company out after this. Okay, so when I was at physio, as usual, I mean, I believe a lot of OT students are physio. So I saw the OT page. I think it was Dr. Masni inside. I mean, one of the lecturers, or someone else from UKM, I remember. So I saw, wow, it's very interesting, very colorful, and things. So I picked that. But I'm fortunate. My parent didn't really question my choice. But I think for your parent, you are happy. So you should tell them, I mean, you are happy for some reason that you are studying this course. So you by all means, you can tell them why you are happy about this course, because of the things you are learning, because of the things that you can do to help your patients. Then they should be able to accept it and can tell them that it's quite a good choice of career. If you are happy with it. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee. So the next question, okay, so it's like the next question, adakah kelebihan kemahiran berbahasa lebih daripada 2 bahasa merupakan salah satu faktor penting untuk graduan masa kini diserap masuk sebagai pekerja? So this is how the question goes. What's your view on that?
Oh, semestinya kalau ada kemahiran untuk berbahasa lebih daripada 2 bahasa, for example, boleh bahasa, let's say you are Malay, you can speak Mandarin, a bit basic Mandarin. Of course, it helps your work a lot, because bahasa tu cuma satu alat saja. Dia alat untuk membuka peluang dan ruang untuk berkomunikasi dengan orang yang berlainan kaum, berlainan negara, anything. You can speak English, can speak Malay, can speak Mandarin. I picked up Thai language when I was much younger, and when I was giving a guest lecture in Mahidol University in Bangkok. The students were happy, although I speak very basic with a lot of English inside. But, language is like music where it's borderless and no one limits you from learning more than 2, 3, 4, 5 languages. And they are all very good, useful tools for you to open up your opportunities. Trust me, language is a power tool. So, I'm fully Chinese educated. I'm fully Chinese educated. From my primary school to high school, I studied in the full Chinese SMJK. Jitsin is my school, Penang school. But I picked up English, I picked up Malay, I picked up a lot of Malay during my matriculation time with my friends. With my Malay friends. I have many friends now in big political parties, back in those metric, we are all roommates and hostel mates. So yes, semestinya dia ada benefit yang banyak sangat kalau dapat you can sharpen your skills on language. Definitely.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. So so the next question. Okay, so the next question goes like this. So it's like, so what is the requirement to work with you? I think everyone is really interested to do.
The requirement is, like I say, attitude is the most often qualification. We look at your background and things like that. But like I say, skills, knowledge can be trained as long as you have the mentality and the attitude, willing to be trained and willing to go the extra mile. Okay, I can share you a story. Last year, we hired an intern, from University of Malaysia, Kelantan. It's a small uni in Kelantan. So they don't, of course, it's not a healthcare course. They studied business or entrepreneurship, something like that. So this guy came into my company, my HQ, as intern for administrative and operations work. He was with us for 6 months, about 5-6 months, and he was performing very well. And we offered him a job, and he worked very hard. Very, very, very hard. His English was not good, and he went for extra training himself, online courses. He went for Excel courses. He went for all these things that we didn't ask him to do. But he wants to do well in his work, naturally. So now it's less than 1 year's time with us, with the company. Now he's already moving up to the operations exec level, although it's junior exec, but it's considered a very high-speed elevation. Very high-speed promotion for him. So I don't really care about how good your pointers are. Basically, I do not really care, but it's more on the attitude. Okay, I have extremely good UKM graduates, FSK graduate now working in our team. Very good. I have very bad ones as well. I have had very bad ones as well. Signed the offer letter, didn't turn up. I didn't know about this. It's my HR telling me, the department manager and the branch manager telling me. So, so I think attitude, work ethic, you can Google the word work ethic. Work ethic is not the rules and regulation ethic, but work ethic, how much you're willing to put in for your work. That will be your qualifying factors. Not only with me, with many good employers out there, this is the factor that they are looking at. I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. So the next question, it goes like this. So after the initial business opening, growth can be one of the most exciting times for any entrepreneur. So how do you sustain growth for a small business?
Okay, sustainability is a big word. Sometimes, like I say, it's like happiness. How happy you define, how much happiness is depending on how you define happiness. Okay, so sustainability for a small business. Okay, how small is small, okay? How sustainable is sustainable? So let's say you want to make enough to cover your expenses, to earn a bit of margin, live quite a comfortable life, say 5% of whatever you make for the company, then shouldn't be too hard lah. So how to sustain? You have to always be creative lah. Because things change very fast. The strategies that you read now, or probably you watch on YouTube now, probably can work for the next 1-2 years, and things just change already. So you have to be always your pace has to follow the how the world is evolving, okay? How the country is evolving, how the market is evolving, how you do marketing. Of course, marketing is another big picture, another big part of this whole thing lah. So of course, sales marketing is very important. That's why you see even until today, KFC and McDonald's is still doing advertisement, although we all know them, but their advertisement hasn't stopped for a single day. Nike, very famous, still you can see the advertisement. So marketing is very important. Finance, if you have a bit of finance background, or you hire someone with very good finance background, that will help you go a very long way, very, very long way. I would say I wouldn't say we are very successful, but the current achievement that we have achieved, I would say probably 80% come from the wise financial planning of our finance team. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. So, so the next question is, Mr. Lee sebagai alumni telah banyak menyumbang kembali kepada UKM. Apakah nasihat Mr. Lee kepada bakal alumni KTSN atau UKM supaya mereka kembali menyumbang kepada college?
Sumbangan saya tak kira banyak sangat lah, but I just do what I can lah. I mean, like if you want me to come back and share my experience, that is definitely no problem and all things lah. But for all alumni, I think if you have achieved something when you're out from this school, in Chinese there's a saying that when you drink the water, you have to remember where the source is lah, where the source of the water is coming from. So basically, I mean, we have to remember our roots, be it our primary school teacher, our secondary school teacher, our pre-U teacher, our university lecturers, our school, because without them, I mean, it's almost impossible for us to gain the knowledge that we have now. Although they are not perfect, no one is perfect. The education they provide us during that time, okay, during that period of time when we are learning and studying is probably one of the major success factors of the alumni when you achieve something. Like me, I'm very thankful for my lecturers for teaching me, all those clinical reasonings and all those skills and all those things. Of course, when I come out to work, I gain a lot more skills and sharpen my skills, but it's the basic things that I learned from the school that made me who I am today. So whether it's monetary, experience, any kind of sumbangan that you can think of, sometimes just go back to the school, talk to the lecturers. I feel bad that recent 1-2 years, I hardly go back to UCAM to meet the lecturers because although I'm in KL most of the time, but I'm really too busy. But I still, if it's possible, I'll still make time to go back and meet some of the teachers, the lecturers. Yep. So, I mean, whatever you can, just you feel comfortable, sumbang. Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Lee. Okay, so the next question is, do your parents support you when you do the decision to involve in business?
Yeah. My mom is very supportive. Although she doesn't know much about business. At that time also, I didn't know much about business, but I'm just learning and working at the same time. But yes, fortunately, my mother was very supportive, and my family members are very supportive. So they did help me a lot when I first started. Yes, they were supportive.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Lee. So the next question, I think it comes since I'm also part of the rehabilitation. So I just curious. So So Rehab is a very small community, like in Malaysia, right? So can it be OT, audio, speech, or physio? It's a very small group in Malaysia. So and this community is like, in order to grow like a profession, anything, we need a lot of sharing and stuff. So as a company or as a clinician in your, I mean, clinicians, a group of clinicians in your company, how do you keep yourself updated or keep connected with the, I mean, the group of clinicians, I would say, in Malaysia?
You mean the how do you always keep yourself connected with the network of therapists and also all the clinical workers, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh, I mean, you can join groups. You can join. I mean, like I'm still very close to my ex roommate, which is my coursemate as well, and he's now a very high position guy in Pekeso Malacca Rehabilitation Center. I think one of the top guys. So we are still very close. We are always. I mean, of course, nowadays we hardly meet because of our busy work schedule, but. I always keep in touch with my friends, my uni mates, or even therapists, not only Malaysian but overseas. As I mentioned just now earlier, our company hosts a lot of trainings and courses previously. So it's a chance for you to network with those people when you attend workshops and courses. Then get their contacts. Now Facebook and IG is so easy. So I mean, there are so many ways for you to connect. But of course, like I say, choose the right group, choose the people with the right mentality. Although we are studying the same, we are in the same industry, but different people got different thoughts and directions. So you can select who you think will be helpful, will be resourceful to you. Then you can just mingle, just network. I spend a lot of time networking with people, but not because time is very limited. Time is very precious. So you don't simply just mingle around, but you look for, the people that you think that can make you a better person, can make you learn more. Then always keep connected. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. So continuing the same question, so it's like we are also getting a lot of new research and like new intervention strategies introduced in our fields, like in rehabilitation fields, right? So
Yep.
how does your company keep up with that as well?
We have okay, in our company we have leaders who are in the technical section. That means like a physio head, an OT head, speech therapy, a senior one, things like that. So, I mean, even the junior staff or even the mid-level one, we always go for trainings. And so, of course, this 1.5 to 2 years is a bit challenging for us to do that one. But I think we are always reading researchers, and even myself until today, like every month I will try to look for some new inputs here and there technically for technical work. That's how we cultivate the culture. So everyone, you have to, because you want to do your job well, you want to do your job better, so you will self-motivate yourself. You don't have to wait for a lecturer to set your time and all things. You will go and do it by yourself. So you always, I mean, now there are so many platforms where you can have direct access to researchers and all the articles and all the new studies and all things. So, I mean, if you want to do your work well, you have to do it now. You have to do it. Unless you don't want to do your work well, just chin chai like that, then it's a bit tough But if you really want to be excellent in, you want to be the center of excellence, right? You have to do the hard work. You have to go and look for researchers and all things. Yep.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Lee. Okay, so the next question is, it's like, what are the techniques kaedah yang berkesan untuk menarik lebih banyak pelanggan, or like things that you use to
berkesan. Marketing, like I say, sales, marketing, advertising. your team's customer service level, soft skill training, menarik lebih banyak pelanggan, buatlah iklan banyak-banyak. So, yeah, marketing is one thing, but one thing in our industry, like it's your quality of work, lah. I mean, when you are doing good quality of work, people recommend. So, yeah, in fact, until today, the first batch of our patients, of our company's patients, is still referring people to our place, although they are already long recovered, or their children are long recovered already, but now, I mean, they are still referring people. So back to the basics, do your job well, do your job properly, then all these things will come.
So, so Mr. Lee, so the next question is one of the faculty representative, and honestly, it's quite hard to divide my time wisely. Is there any way to combat this?
Okay, so yeah, faculty representative. Okay, what does a faculty representative do? I mean, I just want to understand what do they do? To do a lot of activity, organize a lot of activities, things like that, or what?
Yes, so they are in one of the I mean, they are also in student associations, like one of the student association.
Okay, so a lot of sometimes a lot of campaigns and all those things going on, right? A lot of extra jobs, right? Extracurricular. Okay, so if being a fact rep is your choice, then you have to know that this is the price you are paying, lah. Then one thing is divide your time. I don't know what course you're from, or I'm just giving a general reference. So like myself, okay, like myself. I know that I'm very busy from morning until evening. So if I want to do something extra, in fact, now I'm doing my paper, going for PhD. I'm doing a master's and PhD at the same time. So I am very busy with my work. So I have to do it after I finish my work at 6-7 p.m. Then I come home, I work out a bit, then I start my work on my papers and all those things. So it is part of the sacrifice you want to make, and you have to work probably extra hours, but you cannot. How should I put this? So you have to be very disciplined. Like me today, our session started at 8 p.m., right? Just now at 7, probably 20, I'm still in office. So I had a quick dinner, then I sat in for this session. So I had a very long day, very, very long day, because I usually see patients on weekends, and today I saw about like 20 over 30 patients, from morning. So so if you want to achieve that, then that's the price you have to pay. Then you have to, of course, you have to have very good, probably you can have a very good Google Calendar, to split your time. I think using a bit of tools like this, there are a lot of apps, a lot of time management apps for you to do this. But that is tools. But your side, your mentality you have to adjust a bit. I feel tired physically as well sometimes, but because of the mental strength or excitement that I have for my new projects and things like that, so I don't feel too tired. So remember that I mentioned just now, other than your mental strength, you have to keep yourself physically strong as well, physically fit as well. So it takes a lot of discipline. Sometimes I feel very lazy also, but I need to get the project done. I want to see that I'm not too disciplined. I saw a comment here, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm very, very disciplined. I have friends who are more disciplined than me, and they work crazier than me. But I try I try my best, because these are the things that I want to do. Unless you're forced to become a fact representative, like your paksa rela, then okay lah. But if you choose to go inside one, then you have to know lah. You have to sacrifice a bit, work extra hours. It's worth it. It's worth it. 10 years from now, you'll thank yourself.
So yeah, I think my next question continues or like flows with the same the previous question. I think it's inevitable as a student who has a lot of activities to handle and also focus in their studies at the same time. the inevitable part is stress. I would say you'll be like stressed with that. So like, can you share with us like how do you cope with your stress?
Oh, okay. I work out a lot. I meet my friends. I have a lot of friends who are not OT, who are not from rehab background. So they are doing different kind of businesses. They are people running F&B business, entertainment business, hotel line, whatever it is. So when I meet them, you talk, and then at the same time you relax. Right? Where we meet friends, we chill. We eat, and then we chat. But at the same time, I get a lot of input lah. So I get to have different perspective on things, on life. So when you are very stressed, you are narrowing your vision into a very narrow range of ideas. So when you talk to people, when you go out travel, you can see things. Your vision, your range become bigger already. So it becomes wider. So that's why I choose to mingle around a lot with people outside of my industry. That helps me a lot. This is one key that, you're a physio, don't always just mix with physio every day, talk about anatomy and range of motion. But you can go more than that. Go more than that. Because as an OT myself, okay, for all those from rehab or any from FSK, I tell you, like me as an OT, I feel that my success as an OT comes from my knowledge outside of OT, because I know a lot of things about life. So my patient can come from a background of an officer, of a government servant, someone from the istana, someone from the being a mechanic or hawker, whoever it is, I can speak their language. So when you can build a rapport, 50% of the work is done because they trust you. When they trust you, I saw a question just now, if a person cannot tolerate the required amount of therapy, if they trust you, they will do their best to tolerate the required amount of therapy. Yeah. So de-stress, we'll talk to your friends. I play golf a lot. I work out a lot. I go outdoors. Sometimes now COVID a bit lesser lah. But because I spend half of my week in Penang, so I usually go to the seaside, the beaches, makan a bit, meet my friends. In KL also, I go chill a bit. Something like that.
So building rapport is the key to get their compliance in our therapy, is it? Mr. Lee. It's like from what you say.
You mean just on the rapport part? Yes, if you build good rapport with your clients, of course they are more willing to do their best to comply to your therapy plans.
Okay, true. Okay, so the next question, I think it's like we can connect at the student levels, like when you say about the stress and everything. But I think there's another inevitable part also being a student is yes, anyone, ada orang want to say something?
Shafika.
Yes, Shafika, you want to say something? Okay, so the inevitable part about being student, I would say it's like procrastination. I would say procrastination, and also easily distracted, because like we would think like, oh, okay, so going out with my friends would be better, or I can do my work later. So it's like there is still like 1 week more to finish my work, the deadline. So what do you think about that, Mr. Lee?
That's human nature. I also procrastinate. I like my paper delay very long. My supervisor tekan. That's human nature. Sometimes give yourself a bit of space to breathe. But like I say, you put the things that you want to do into your calendar, and by hook or by crook, you have to do that I sometimes also do things. When I was a student, I was also a very last minute person because there were too many things as well, and I have a lot of extracurricular outside of things. So work wisely, then you have to plan your time. Anyhow, you still have to get that done, but a bit of procrastination is okay, because you are human. I'm a human. We are not robots. So it's very common. I believe when you are doing so, some other people may be doing so as well. But you have to bear in mind that set a deadline for yourself. I myself, usually I will set deadline by when I need to do what. So by hook by crook, I will still do it. Yeah, I'll still do it. So it's about discipline also lah. But give yourself a bit of space or breather, a bit of breather. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay,
Yep.
So ada sesiapa nak ajukan soalan kepada Mr. Lee, anda boleh unmute mic anda boleh terus bercakap dengan Mr. Lee lah untuk tanyakan soalan. Sesiapa? Ada? Syafika?
Ini apa baru sekarang?
Oh, okay. Okay, tak ada. Okay, so so the next question goes like this. I think I would like to rephrase this question. So the sacrifice, like you have said, you have to pay the price, right, Mr. Lee? So what are the things that we should not sacrifice? I would say it's like, yeah, we know that when we want to achieve something, we should sacrifice things or pay things in return. But what are the things that you would like suggest against it from us, like sacrificing it?
I saw someone asking about sacrifice sleep, right? Don't sacrifice your sleep. I mean, sleep is very important to keep yourself fresh the next day. So don't sacrifice your health. I mean, of course, it is very hard to balance. I can tell you it is impossible to have a balanced lifestyle at the same time, be successful in a successful entrepreneur, or you want to, achieve extra milestone compared to your friends and not having too much, any sacrifice. It's impossible. It will not happen. But to me, sleep is still a very essential thing. You still need to sleep on time. When I was like your age, probably I sleep a lot lesser because the time still young. Right? I probably really could go until like 3, 4 a.m. The next morning probably 8 a.m. I continue my work and things like that. But now, usually I sleep around like 12 a.m. The next morning probably 6, 7 a.m. because I go for morning workouts and morning golfs. So I usually wake up very early. But I make it a point to keep myself very fresh. Don't sacrifice your health. You will have to sacrifice a bit of your health because you can't control that. You'll be stressed, you'll be working a bit overtime, but whenever you can, treat yourself better. Eat better food, sleep better, drink more water. That's the basic of it. Wear your mask nowadays.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Mr. Lee. So there's a question that I can see here. They ask, where are you taking your master and PhD? But I would like to add on to that. Okay, so it's like, so there is two paths, right? Just now you have mentioned like becoming an academician and also venture into entrepreneurship. So like, is it possible for us to do both? Like postgraduate is something that going more deeper into what we are doing, but entrepreneurship is something like we're gonna open a business. So which one do you think more important, or like which is more beneficial, I would say?
Okay, still back to the root, which is what is your preference? I mean, any of you. I mean, because everyone prefers different things. Some people, they after they finish their undergraduate, they straight away go into masters or whatever, work for like 1-2 years, then go into masters, go into postgrad, go into academic line, go teaching and things like that. I mean, that is their passion in this. Some people go into research, they just keep on doing research and papers and things like that. Like my way is I prefer creating things that is not available anywhere. So that's my interest. I'm curious about things that is not here. So and to me, furthering my studies is not. By the way, I didn't do OT and things like that. I do totally different things. It's all business related. So what I'm doing is for the network at the same time. Okay, because my course mates are are all almost all working group or business owners, and some of them are quite successful as well. So my point is to, like I say, the right pool of people, the right pool of the same mindset or even more advanced mindset than ours. It's for us to learn from them. So that's my intention. Okay, I have no intention to go teaching and things like that. I have no intention, but that's because I've done some of the things that I aimed to do, when I was younger, and now I probably just take up the studies to just refresh myself or to learn a bit more, from the school. Yep.
Okay, Mr. Lee, there is another question in the chat box. The question goes like this. It is, I have questioned that, do you intend to include nutrition in Well Rehab Center? Like nutrition in a part of a rehabilitation group?
Yes, as I assume this is from a Nutri student. Okay. Yes, we have a project going on. It's still in the R&D phase, but we are. I wouldn't say we are the best place to. I mean, our company. I wouldn't say we are the best platform to do nutrition, because that's not our main thing, but we have some R&D going on for some new products and projects, which has been a bit affected by MCO previously, but now we are restarting it. So this is like a new division for our company. But of course, we will hire dietitian and nutritionists in the future for this project. But this is still a very young project, very kindergarten level. So I couldn't share too much also because we have contracts and everything. So yes, nutrition, yes, that's part of the whole ecosystem. So we are like duplicating the whole FSK in the company. All right.
Mr. Lee, so the next question, I think I saw the question went off just now. Okay, so the question goes like this. The question was like, when we start entrepreneurship, or like we went into a business, surely there'll be problems. So what are the problems that you would say you would suggest us to avoid, like when you face them? Like, what are the possible things that we avoid from getting hit by it?
Getting hit by it, okay. Yes, memang berisiko tinggi. The risk is very high. I can tell you, you can lose everything. Okay, but of course it's not like gambling because it's all calculated risk. So when you go into it, when I went into it, I of course I was such an amateur. I was still very junior and very young in that. So I went through a lot of crises and challenges I mentioned earlier. You technically cannot avoid masalah, because you don't go and find masalah will come and find you. So because as you go on, you when you run a business, you sure want to grow it, you want to do things right. When you do things, there definitely will be masalah. So for example, you want to open a kedai runcit, you open a kedai runcit. You sure got masalah with your supplier, okay? Banjir, so cannot send you stock, okay? One possible reason. You got apply license, maybe the council, the Majlis Perbandaran, want to give you masalah, for this and that. So a lot of masalah you can't avoid. But instead of, let me rephrase this, instead of trying to avoid masalah, right, that is to prepare yourself for your problem solving skill, your strategic planning, your knowledge and all things you have to be more well equipped with these things, so that you can tahan the masalah. Like the banjir, we also know that Malaysia will banjir, but you never expect the banjir will come like that. So it's very hard for you to avoid the banjir because it's not under your control. But what you can do is, what's your problem solving skill after the banjir? And next time when the banjir come, what is your strategy? These are the things. So memang berisiko tinggi . Memang berisiko tinggi. But it's all calculated risk. Risiko yang I don't know what dikira, something like that. So you can calculate the risk. So you have to be prepared that I'm willing to sacrifice this and that for that. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, there was some technical issues. Sorry, Mr. Lee. Okay, so there's another question I see. It's usually from students. OT student. Okay, so what we need to do to cope with a strict lecturer and doctor? I'm always afraid of them, and this affect my performance.
Do your things properly. If they are strict with you, you have to be thankful because when you come out to work, right, the world will be stricter and more harsh to you. Okay, so I believe they are strict with you not because they want to fail you and things like that, but because they hope that you can withstand the challenges. Because I can tell you, really, in this campus, it's like a sand play. It's a very, very, very gentle environment. But when you are out there in actual business, actual work environment, it is not only your technical part, the skill part, but also in terms of human relationship, okay, with your seniors, with your colleagues, with your superiors, with your clients. A lot of things going on. So don't be afraid lah. They are there to help you lah. So like I say, build rapport with them. Build good relationship with them. Always ask them for advice. So if they give you advice, then you apply the advice. Then they can't be angry with you lah.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Mr. Lee. Okay, Mr. Lee. So I think there's the second question next to it. I just want to rephrase that. So just now you have mentioned about medicine and rehab, right? It's like these are two different things. Like medicine, they prescribe drugs, and it's a different story, and rehabilitation is a different story. So, in your opinion, what's the best thing about doing rehabilitation work? Like, yeah, in your opinion.
The best part as a rehab worker or a service provider is to see your clients, like I say, their life change for the better, their quality of life change, their independence change, improve, and they thank you for your hard work and for your work because I have a client, I have a patient, which I have seen him when he was a 6-month-old baby. So he was one of the triplets. So the two siblings passed away. Then only left him. And they were premature babies, if not mistaken. And so he had, delay in all things. Even his hearing, until today, he's still not perfect. So his speech, his hearing, his motor skills, and things like that. So I when I was a younger therapist, I trained him. Now he's already 12, 13 years old. 12, 13 years old, and they have relocated to Johor. But whenever they come back to Penang, they will come to me and come for a session, just to maintain and just to reconnect lah. Actually, he's a much better person now already. Skill wise and everything lah. So that's the sense of accomplishment, that money cannot buy lah. So that's why I'm still maintaining probably 2 days per week that I'm still seeing patients. To keep this passion going on, this satisfaction going on.
Thanks, Mr. Lee. So next is the question is, how do you deal with patients who contact you out of office hours?
No one could contact me out of office hours. No. In our company, the patients do not have direct access to therapists. It has to go through our customer service team. It has to go to our HQ, and then the therapists do not have to entertain the clients. So I mean, unless you are in a some very small centers and things like that, then where you have to that. But our side, no lah. We have our hotline, our customer service line, and it's like I mean, you wouldn't talk to Maybank manager directly over the phone, right? They will go through the customer service and then all those things. So no one could contact. I mean, no patient could contact me out of office hours unless I want to contact them. Then I would have my way to contact them. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Lee. So the next question is is there any memorable patient's case that you can share with us?
Oh, like I said just now, that case. That is one of the many only lah. I have many. So there are some who from they do not know. This case that I mentioned just now. He wasn't able to roll his body. He wasn't even able to crawl and things like that. And now he's actively joining hip hop dance class and he's going to school as usual. He's doing his stuff. So these are all the memorable moments, and also many patients who come like severe autism, with totally no response, very poor speech and all things, and now they are independently going to school and learning and all things. So these are all the memorable cases, the clients or the moments that we had.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. So as the last question for today, I would like to ask that what are the future of rehabilitation field in Malaysia that you currently see?
Of course, the potential is very high. There are a lot of areas to be developed. Of course, there's still a lot of room for improvement. So I would say the future is very bright as long as you are doing the right thing. Sometimes when you do rehab or you do therapy services, there are a lot of non-therapy, non-rehab people saying that they are doing therapy, they are doing training. You can see a lot. You go online, you go Facebook, you can see a lot. But I can tell you, if you're doing the right thing, right, these things won't affect you. I mean, those non-certified people or non-qualified people, there are a lot out there. I mean, like even kindergarten teachers, they're saying that they are doing therapy, they are doing speech therapy, they're doing this and that, but that is not what it is. So you just do the right thing, continue learning more, attending more trainings, more workshops as a clinical person, as a clinical practitioner. But then it takes a lot of like us from the business point of view, the reason why we expand, why we grow is not because because my goal is not to be to own a center and then forever work in that small center which wouldn't help the industry at all. You go back to hometown, rent a shop lot or whatever it is, or a house, then I do a therapy center, then I call myself some kid training center, that is doable, but that will do no help to the industry. No help. So my vision, other than financially, growing, also we what we do now is to promote the services, because people go online, they see, oh wow, you are very extensive, you are here and there, so people get a chance to get exposed. I mean, what the people here, I mean, is the public, the layman public. Okay, the layman public. So why, you see, when just now we mentioned about the awards that we have gotten, when I go on stage, I give a speech, I talk about OT, I talk about physio, I talk about rehab, I talk about speech therapy, I talk about special needs children. Then the businessmen down there, the politicians down there, oh yeah, they know about this, they heard about this. Instead of me, if I want to live a very simple life, I start a very tiny center in somewhere and work forever inside there, and until 50 years later, no one would know. I wouldn't be pushing this industry, this whole thing much. Okay, so definitely there are a lot of things to do about this, but we are not thinking small. If my company, I mean our team is thinking small, then definitely you won't see me here today as well. Yeah. So a lot of things to develop. Yeah, very bright future. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Lee, for your time and for your patience
No
and
problem.
answering all our questions.
No
Okay,
problem.
so we shall go to the next slot. Okay, so terima kasih Encik Lee kerana sudi menjawab soalan-soalan dari para hadirin. Semoga penjelasan Encik Lee dapat mengukuhkan lagi kefahaman para hadirin sekalian. Sebagai tanda kenangan, sesi seminar ini, sesi seminar kita bersama Encik Lee, saya dengan segala hormatnya menjemput Mr. Lee dan tetamu jemputan serta para hadirin bagi membuka kamera untuk sesi fotografi bersama-sama. Okey, untuk itu saya berikan kepada
Baiklah, hadirin dan hadiran dijemput untuk membuka kamera bagi sesi fotografi ini. Saya akan memberi 5 saat untuk semua bersiap sedia. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dalam kiraan 3, 2, 1.
Kejap Siping. Kami tak ready lagi.
Okey, saya akan bagi 10 saat lagi untuk bersiap sedia.
Kerja nak ambil tudung. No, sabar.
Ready.
Dah bersiap sedia?
Sudah.
Okey, baiklah. Dalam kiraan 3, 2, 1, senyum. Sekejap ya, kita akan ambil gambar yang kedua. Dalam kiraan 3, 2, 1, senyum. Baiklah, terima kasih semua.
Thank you.
terima kasih diucapkan atas kerjasama para hadirin sebentar tadi. Dengan berakhirnya sesi soal jawab tersebut, maka berakhirlah sesi kita iaitu Coffee with Alumni oleh Encik Lee Wei Ching. Saya mewakili urus setiap program ini mengambil kesempatan ini untuk merakam setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada semua pihak yang ini. Sekali lagi kami mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih atas kesudian Encik Lee Wei Ching kerana meluangkan masa untuk menyampaikan ilmu dan pengalaman beliau dalam sesi kita pada hari ini. Akhir kata, saya ingin memohon maaf bagi pihak ahli organisasi kami dan diri saya sendiri jika terdapat sebarang salah silap dan kekurangan sepanjang webinar ini berlangsung. Dengan itu, sekian, terima kasih. Thank you very much, Mr. Lee.
Okay, welcome. See you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you.
Para hadirin boleh imbas QR code yang ditunjukkan di skrin anda untuk pendaftaran keluar webinar ini, dan link untuk Google Form pendaftaran keluar juga diberikan di dalam chat box. Terima kasih.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Oh, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing.
멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가 아무리 막아도 결국 너의 곁인 걸 결국엔 여행을 끝내 이젠 돌아가 너라는 집으로 지금 다시 way back home 아무리 힘껏 닫아도 다시 열린 서랍 같아 하늘로 높이 날린 넌 자꾸 내게 되돌아와 힘들게 삼킨 이별도 다 그대로인 걸 수없이 떠는 길 위에서 난 너를 발견하고 비우려 했던 마음은 또 이렇게 너로 차올라 발걸음의 끝에 늘 네가 부딪혀 그만 멈춘 시간 속 잠든 너를 찾아가 아무리 막아도 결국 너의 곁인 걸 결국엔 여행을 끝내 이젠 돌아가 너라는 집으로 지금 다시 way back home
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done